Right. Okay, so now talking about Drops VR. We talked about this over almost a year and a half ago, and then again a few times last year. This project, you know, is kind of, perhaps as many of you know, my pet project. Yeah, I'd like to give you an update and see what we have developed so far. So there's a bit of a highlight overview on the screen for now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a tour of what we have developed so far and run you through all these processes as we go. So on the picture on your right is a VR device. I've got one here as well. And there's many different devices, but the idea is the VR application is mainly developed for virtual reality. What I'm going to show now is my screen, which is a Windows application. It's kind of a viewer, and not all the functionalities work exactly the same way. All right, so this is basically the entrance lobby of Drops VR. It's a 3D generated environment, which I'm just going to move around in. I'm going to go to the receptionist first.
Hello, how can I help?
Okay, what's the...
Drops VR is a tool for collaboration and education for dropped object prevention. It will be a basic awareness training built on the best practices developed by Drops. It is a new way to meet and collaborate.
So the animation and audio is all computer generated. That's why it kind of sounds a little bit mechanical.
At the moment, you have the option of visiting the conference room, the virtual exhibition, and try a few of the scenarios under development. What would you like to do?
All right, so we'll try.
Follow me and stand on this teleportation pad.
So we're just going to follow her.
Please stand on the... Select one of the options on the menu to start a scenario.
All right, so a lot of you know the drops calculator, and one of the facets, one of the ways we're going to use the training is have this in VR live size. The feature doesn't work with Windows, so I'm not going to run you through that in detail, but in VR it's a fully working drops calculator. So most of what you've seen so far is 3D generated content. I'm going to show you an example now of a 360 generated scenario, which was donated by one of the supporters for the project. So what you will see here is kind of a scenario where you need to take decisions and move around in an environment.
Finally, you're late.
Nope.
Look, I need you to get the pump back up again, otherwise we'll be in big trouble. Tom, I want you to go along as well to provide advice, because I know you have more experience with this.
No problem.
Okay? Good luck.
Let's go.
So, you know, obviously this story can continue for quite a while, yeah, the idea is that your colleague is going to give you lots of pressure to take shortcuts to get the job quickly done, while you should be taking precautions to do the job safely. So that was a 360 scenario. We're going to go to a offshore rig now. It's probably not exactly the same as you recognize it, but it's for drops it's okay. So here, what we're building is a hazard hunt, where you basically can walk through the environment and spot all the hazards. All right, so you come back to the lobby every time to do something different, and then you go to this telepad to go somewhere else. So we'll just open up a scenario here. In this 3D environment, we are developing a container inspection scenario, which is based off the Drops recommended practice called backloading. Hoover Ferguson supplied the 3D models of the containers, and Matthew is assisting to make sure they look realistic in VR. Pak Doni from Siaptec Indonesia is an expert in lifting gear inspection and is assisting the project from that perspective.
Thanks, Joe. Hi everyone, I'm Matt from Hoover Ferguson, Australia. We are happy to have a chance to be involved in this project, and I hope you like our containers in VR.
Hi everyone, I am Doni from Siaptec Indonesia. We are happy to work with the Drops Asia chapter to develop this virtual reality training.
Matt and Donnie both have an Oculus Go VR headset displayed on the presentation earlier. While Matt is in Australia, Donnie in Indonesia, and I am in Singapore, we can all virtually meet using an avatar in the same 3D environment. This is how they are helping improve the content. It can also be used for a kind of remote on-the-job training. Now we'll go back to the lobby. Drops VR will be a free training application which can be downloaded to various types of VR hardware. I have made the initial investment needed to research the technology and build a framework. And now sponsorship from interested companies is helping us to build the content of the training. Here we are visiting the exhibition where the sponsors have their products and services on display.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Gary Dunn here from Stop Drop Tooling in Aberdeen. We're delighted to be sponsoring the Drops VR. And you know, we're looking to get our own application actually, so we can collaborate with clients through our own VR app, which I think when you look at the current climate will be of huge value to us. So thanks, Joe.
Hi everyone, Mike Rice here from DropSafe. If you would like any information on the DropSafe nets, barrier system or pouches, then please feel free to email us at info@dropsafe.com. Thanks very much.
Here's a conference and a conference room, and the idea is in the long run we would hold conferences in virtual reality. Expectation is that maybe 3 to 5 years time from now, a lot more people would have VR hardware and be able to do so. Now it's becoming a lot more relevant because of course we're all stuck at home. And we're not able to go to regular conferences anymore. So it's something we will further explore. So we have Donnie here, we've got Gary as well, and I'm not sure if there's others coming into the room. So that's kind of a bit of an overview of the Drops VR application. Donnie, Gary, thanks very much for joining here.
Pleasure.
We'll continue in the Zoom application.
All right.
All right. So that's a bit of a tour of the virtual reality application. As I said, you know, we're going to look at other ways of further collaborate. I'm going to run a meeting online soon, and we're working with the IADC chapter to do that. And the IADC chapter is even more about connecting with each other than sharing particular knowledge. It's really about connecting with each other. And what I said earlier in the webinar is that, you know, maybe webinars are not so good at it. You know, I'm talking, you're all listening. But what we really want to achieve is for you to be able to go and sit next to someone, have a conversation, and make that direct connection. I believe that virtual reality is going to be really a great tool for that. I know it's very early, but at the same time, we're going to experiment with that. I'm also developing mobile phone applications, so you could actually log into the app with a mobile phone. And then you could navigate that same environment as well without actually having to have a VR device. So those are some of the things coming up. So how can you get involved? Okay, so what we're looking for, similar to Matt and Dovi and others, we're looking for people who are excited about drops and who are excited about virtual reality, who are willing to volunteer their time and expertise to kind of slowly develop the content of this training. We're looking for companies who are willing to provide realistic models and content. A good example was Hoover Ferguson. It would have cost me a lot to actually make that properly from scratch. So they provided the shop drawing. Similar to Stop Drop Tooling, they paid for the development for tools at height. So if you have anything, I'd love to get, for example, a good realistic rig. What I showed you earlier is not quite there yet. So getting that content would be really, really helpful. Finally, sponsorship. If you're having a product that you would like to promote in the app, DropSafe and StopDrop are very early adopters, recognizing that right now there are very few people using it, but that should slowly develop, and you get an opportunity to show that there. And then there's end users like major oil companies who would be willing to kind of support and development of this further.